Hello, my name is Jonathan Goodison-Orr, and welcome to my pitch for a casual reimagining of what is currently a very popular, very much non-casual game, Elden Ring. Anyone who is familiar with the type of game Elden Ring is will be very surprised to hear me even contemplate reworking it into a more casual context. Elden Ring is an open-world action role-playing game produced by From Software, a Japanese video game developer which is responsible for some of the most popular action RPG titles of the past 2 decades, including the Dark Souls series and Bloodborne. Their games are world famous for their captivating, richly detailed worlds, and the intense, unforgiving combat and action sequences. Elden Ring is no different in those respects. The world of the game is huge, populated by many characters and many enemies to fight, and a huge amount of story and background lore, as written by Hidetaka Miyazaki and acclaimed American novelist George R.R. Martin. And while Elden Ring has been arguably From Software's biggest project to date, with the widest appeal, it is exactly like its predecessors in having a very high level of difficulty in its combat and highly detailed RPG systems that require extensive management of your player and equipment, with spells, crafting recipes, and a currency for buying weapons and armor, all a part of managing your character as you move through the game. Experienced players of From Software's games will argue that the notorious difficulty and RPG elements are the point. They set these games apart from action games generally to offer an enhanced challenge for those who want it. And while I recognize they may have a point, it is also true that there are a lot of people who are interested in playing a game like Elden Ring to experience the story, the world, the interesting character designs, and the combat, who simply don't have the time to sink hundreds of hours into fighting the same battles over and over again. In short, Elden Ring's high difficulty and high commitment required are a selling point to its die-hard fans, but discouraging and off-putting to general audiences considering buying the game but unsure whether they will actually be able to make progress. So my pitch is very simple. Elden Ring, which does not have any kind of easy mode for beginners, should have one. Leave the original experience alone for those that want it, but also include a mode of the game with streamlined RPG mechanics and more forgiving combat, so those that just want to pick up and experience the game can do so without getting stuck for hours on challenging battles and boss fights. This would be a very easy way to expand Elden Ring's appeal by pulling in gamers who are curious about the world and the story, but are currently intimidated by the high difficulty. Additionally, streamlined RPG elements would allow for less time to be spent on character management and more time to be spent on exploration and combat. If From Software implemented a beginner's mode in Elden Ring, it would be a minimally invasive way to take a game that has already sold very well and expand its appeal to gamers of all kinds. It would also allow players more freedom to explore its richly detailed world and lore, and would probably prompt many more people to then try the authentic Elden Ring experience. Thank you very much for listening.